Slowly opening his eyes, he saw only the lamps in the operating room, which were shining so brightly that it was hard to open his eyes. He grabbed his head because his head hurt so much. The guy didn't realize where he was, even assumed he had traveled through time. It was an operating room. He didn't understand why he was there and what the incomprehensible feeling of emptiness was inside him. It seemed that if you worked too hard, you could get an emptiness inside. Some inappropriate thoughts at the moment. His gaze drops to something nearby, then he notices the scalpel. Then he finally turns his attention and notices the numerous stitches. It looks like they cut out his kidneys. He calls for help and asks to call the police and make a complaint against them. He still needs to find his kidneys and regain his strength. But the strength was only enough to stand up, and then the guy falls to the floor without strength. Two doctors appear. One wonders to the other, shouldn't they have only taken the kidneys from the patient? But Dr. Lin replies that the situation is bad and kidney prices have dropped a lot, so they said the doctors can take whatever they can. They're going to gut the guy. The poor guy is lying on the floor and reaching for his phone. His mind is too fuzzy from the anesthesia. All he can think about are the cold words flying out of the doctors' mouths, with their temperature at 36 whole and 7/10 degrees. He also doesn't understand how he's still alive. When he picks up his phone, all he finds on it is some kind of game. He's about to die, and they're slipping him some game and won't let him make a call. This only makes the guy sad, and he realizes that his life is over. He's getting weaker. It looks like the wounds opened up. It seems he has even started to see his great-grandmother, how he doesn't want to die. Seeing his great-grandmother's smile and app, he doesn't have much choice. So he decides to give the app one last try. It's some kind of game called World of Wishes. So he clicks on the game icon and starts. Suddenly, a rather creepy picture appears in front of his eyes, and he is asked what his forbidden wish is. Dark figures open a coffin in which lies a withered woman. Death is unable to keep the desire away. Life cannot be stopped. From the woman's body, red threads manifest like blood vessels. On these threads hang bells. The guy is incredibly frightened by what he sees and doesn't understand what the hell is happening in front of him. Then a message appears on his phone saying that he will listen to God's blessing, and all he has to do is say yes. It's like signing a contract. The guy doesn't hesitate to press yes. He wants to live, he wants his kidneys to come back, and he regains his strength. Suddenly a seal appears, and someone with fangs and glowing eyes looked into his soul. After that, the guy woke up in the wishing world. He still didn't really understand what was happening to him. Was he caught up in some kind of game? It was good news to him that he was alive. However, after checking the place where the blood had been oozing from a while ago, he noticed the bad news. His organs were really gone. Everything was shrouded in fog, but from somewhere like someone's evil eyes, a light appeared. However, it turned out to be only a bus. When he looked in the other direction, he noticed some beauty in black silks. However, when the girl came closer and the light illuminated her face, he didn't think of her that way anymore. He only sighed and declared that he would take it back. She was just an ordinary girl in tights. But the girl was still looking at him questioningly for some reason, which made him assume that he seemed like he was supposed to be scared by the rules. The protagonist only exclaims that he has a void in his body instead of organs, so he has nothing to lose. He can't even lose his dignity because it no longer exists. And can this girl really kill him, already a dead man? The guy seems completely out of his mind. He even laughs because when he thinks about it, his empty chest gets wider. The girl wonders what the guy is talking about. Suddenly she invites the guy to get on the bus with her ethereal voice. When the bus doors open, a powerful red aura sweeps through. The guy agrees to see what's going on here. It seems he's still under anesthesia and all the recent events that happened to him are weighing heavily on his mind. So he smiles like a fool and thinks that the girl told the young gentleman to please get on the bus. The girl still doesn't understand what is even going on here. But the guy thinks she didn't hear and repeats that she told the young gentleman to please get on the bus. The girl is finally furious. Her face cracks. She shows her teeth and lets out a monstrously frightening scream. However, this did not scare the guy in the slightest, because there were no more organs left in his body. So did she really think she could scare him with her grimaces? So he attacks the monster, and then insists again that she politely invite him, her master, to get on the bus. The girl admits that she was too careless and therefore didn't dodge in time, but the guy again insists that she politely invite him, her master, to get on the bus. The girl clenches her teeth from the anger that has come over her. However, she finally gives in and says the cherished words, but in her own way. She calls the guy little instead of gentleman and asks him politely to get on the bus. The guy is fine with this option as well. Apparently his life has been too hard. As he walks through the door of the bus, he is suddenly wearing decent clothes. He's pretty happy that he's even dressed up. It was at this point that the gears of fate began their movement. The only thing that upset the guy was that the bus was somehow shabby, and everyone was sitting with some upset and creepy faces. When he saw a vacant seat next to a beautiful girl, he didn't hesitate to sit down next to her and asked what the girl's name was. A strange girl from the street followed the guy into the bus. She welcomes everyone to the world of desire and asks them to heed the whisper of a god. The protagonist only sighs sadly at this situation. The strange girl shows an even creepier grimace on her face and informs him that the god says that the test of all the bus passengers starts right now. At the same time, in reality, in an abandoned factory, it seems Dr. Lin has delivered some sort of mysterious cargo. A woman who just arrived by car wonders if he's taken everything. And when the doctor tells her not to worry and that he did everything himself, she thanks him for his work. He asks the woman to come to him again next time, but in the next instant, the nasty doctor is dead. The woman tells him not to do anything stupid next time. Then the mysterious woman opens a container and there is someone's heart. The woman doesn't seem to be human, as a huge tongue comes out of her mouth and she licks the heart. It seems to be her favorite treat. She hears the whispers of the gods. Meanwhile, inside the wishing world on the bus, the creepy girl on the bus announces that the passenger's first challenge is called elimination. She states that the task is quite simple, that in 10 minutes the bus will be traveling over an old bridge. But the bridge is too old and dilapidated from all that time, so it won't be able to support the weight of all the passengers on the bus. And if the bridge collapses and the bus falls, everyone on the bus will die. However, if just one person gets off the bus, then they will be able to pass over the bridge safely. Also, that the passengers can vote and choose who leaves the bus. Or they can force someone to get off the bus. All these words horrify many passengers and they start to panic. The creepy girl also adds that only those who pass the final test will be able to fulfill their wishes, and then informs that there are 5 minutes left to the bridge. One of the passengers wonders what will happen to whoever gets off the bus, and the girl with a creepy grimace informs that he will die. The protagonist thinks that death is not really that scary, and the scariest part is the phone, which it seems he didn't have time to format before he died. He doesn't even realize if he's dead or not. One pregnant girl asks not to be kicked out as her baby hasn't been born yet, so she can't die now. All the passengers are swept up in a flash with a desperate desire to save themselves. One admits he has cancer. Another has a son in intensive care, so he can't leave the bus. A third reports that his father is a firefighter and he got hurt badly when he was helping people, so the guy has to save him. All the passengers started to share their problems. The protagonist only thinks what kind of jesting arguments everyone has, and that compared to the others, his desire to get his organs back does not seem so trivial. A man with glasses and unshaven hair brings up the voting issue again. As time is limited, he decides to be sensible and eliminate the weakest contestant. So he votes for the pregnant woman. Many people pick up on this because everyone wants to be saved and only one person is needed. After all, this is a test. It remains to be seen what lies ahead for everyone. The girl cries from helplessness. She does not understand how they can do this to her because she is pregnant and whether the other passengers are people at all, since they do this. But all her pathetic attempts are cut short because this is a world of desires. All passengers have desires that they want to fulfill. If the girl thinks they are cruel, then what does she think of herself? After all, she gets to use her pregnancy to morally blackmail the other passengers, forcing others to die in her place. Isn't she cruel then too? The girl just cries in helplessness. The others are like a pack of street dogs, pouncing on the girl and supporting the decision to throw her off the bus. The girl begs not to be thrown out, but the others have already taken her under their arms and are trying to throw her off the bus. The creepy girl asks the others to decide faster, as they are almost there. However, the whole creepy smile thing doesn't really endear the guy to her. After all, the creepy girl looks like she's practically achieved her goal. He thinks it's some kind of devious plan, but the girl is already being thrown off the bus. However, at the last moment, the protagonist manages to grab the girl's hand and pulls her back onto the bus. He wonders if they shouldn't vote first, and that he hasn't actually voted yet. The others only informed him that his vote didn't matter since it was a general decision. Or maybe the guy just wanted to die instead of the girl and get off the bus himself. But the guy just boringly informs the others that they were wrong all along. Well, the guy needs to explain to everyone so they understand. The creepy girl said that someone has to leave the bus, but she didn't say it had to be any of the passengers, did she? But the creepy girl realized that it looks like her plan has been foiled, so she makes one last lunge. She says that the bridge is less than a minute away and they must kick out the first girl or everyone here will die. The protagonist notices that the creepy girl is in a panic, which means everything is right, he thought. The man with the glasses says it's the guy's test, but not his. But the protagonist advises him to think twice because the man in glasses claimed it was all for the team. So he vocalizes that it is necessary to exclude someone who is not the team. So it's time to get rid of the creepy girl and everyone else will stay on the team, and asks if the others agree or if they are against this, going, "This news made everyone very happy. After all, if they get rid of the NPCs, they won't have to kill anyone. How did they not realize this before?" And by a vote, they decide to throw the creepy girl off the bus. She even got all shook up. The main character asks the princess to leave the bus. The creepy girl declares that they can't force her off the bus. But the guy disappointedly reminds her that when he got on the bus, he slapped her. But the creepy girl didn't do anything to him for that prank. It turns out, if he assumed correctly, the reason is because of the rules of the game. Creepy girl can't seem to hurt the passengers. She is infuriated by the guy's words. She thinks he's insolent and tries to pounce on him. But the guy easily stops her and doesn't understand how such a brat can even be on the same bus with him, and then kicks the creepy girl off the bus just as they've just pulled onto the bridge. A voice on the bus announces that the next stop is Weeping Dusk. The man with glasses sighs in relief. Looks like they passed the first test. The other guy is relieved too, and thinks about how he should have thrown her off the bus from the beginning. Another man is already, after all, doesn't understand how a pregnant woman can be forced to go to certain death. But then all of a sudden, the guy's hand glows a golden color. It looked like he had been given the loot from the creepy girl in his hand. Phrases came into his head. "Boy, get on the bus, and you can get the power of evil spirits." And the phrase repeated. The protagonist didn't even realize what it was now. Evil spirits card. Boy, get on the bus, and you can get the power of evil spirits. Apparently that thing in his hands, which resembles a talisman, looks like an item of summoning. Even after that, he thinks none of this matters, because his life has always been filled with danger. So even such a gruesome trophy, it's the result of his accumulated virtue, and he deserves it. Suddenly, the whole bus shook like an earthquake, and the bus stopped. People don't understand what happened. Only the protagonist realizes that the second trial has begun. The bus stopped at the gate of some building, which at first glance was abandoned. When everyone leaves the bus after the protagonist, the pregnant girl suddenly discovers something under her feet. It turns out to be a doll whose face was significantly cracked, and instead of the usual limbs, they were metal. Meanwhile, in the real world, some girl is sitting in front of a mirror and doesn't understand why all this is happening to her. She had a chance to regain her former appearance, but that bastard stopped her. I think we can all guess who it is. She wishes the guy was dead, wishes he was dead, and keeps repeating it. The pregnant girl gets scared of the doll because it looks like there's a ghost in there. The protagonist comes over and kicks the doll aside and advises no one to touch it. He then says that it's just a rag doll. He takes matters into his own hands and commands everyone who was sitting in the back to get up one by one and get out without pushing. After a while, finally, everyone managed to leave the bus. And as soon as everyone left the bus, it immediately drove off. The pretty girl is as frightening as the others. She doesn't understand how they will get out if the bus leaves. The man with the glasses, not reassuring at all with his words that they don't know if they can get out alive yet, which scares the other guy because they could die here. Everyone found the place they arrived at creepy. No one wants to die here. Another beautiful girl comes out of the building and tells them that she is the director and then orders everyone to follow her. She informs them that they have arrived just in time because the old people are already hungry. It all sounds strange. A beautiful girl with a fright grabs the protagonist's hand. He even blushes and tries to calm the girl, saying that it's normal to be afraid and that she has no reason to be so nervous. But when he looked at the ceiling, he was a little surprised because it looked like she was scared. There were hands and feet everywhere on the ceiling. The director informs him that each of the newcomers will be in charge of 3 rooms. On the door, they will find the instructions the children left behind. and also advises them to remember that to take care of the old people, they will follow the instructions clearly. And they hear creepy voices about how delicious the food is and how someone is hungry. The director informs them that if anyone breaks the rules, the consequences will not be long in coming. She informs that on the first floor, there is a communal kitchen in the extreme corner, and each room has its own restrooms. Everyone here is in a special situation, so are obliged to remember what she told them. So they reached the lobby of the nursing home under instructions. Here, the director took out sheets from her robe and told them that here was the assignment for the new arrivals and that they should start immediately, because they were already waiting for them. She also strongly recommends that as soon as it gets dark, everyone should stay in their rooms and not go out. And at night, she recommends that everyone not sleep too soundly and be vigilant. I wonder what will happen next in this story. Wang Ming complains that the director has told them so much, but hasn't even said a word about the salary. He was sent to deliver food to the elderly in room 203. There was a note stuck on the door of the room that the owner of the room was dumb, irritable, dirty, and useless. However, the only thing that bothers the guy is why there is no word on the fact that the volunteers will be paid. First, he had to go to the kitchen. According to his memory, the kitchen was on the first floor. As he walked down the dark hallway, creepy voices came from everywhere. These voices only talked about food, how good it tasted or smelled, and how they wanted more. The guy immediately savvy that in this ordeal, if they didn't take proper care of the old people, they would have a hard time. One guy was watching Liu prepare a meal and asked what he was doing. When the man with glasses didn't understand what the reason was, the man explained that he was misunderstood. He is from a new Oriental cooking school and can help cook anything. Looking at the food, Wang Ming decided to put all his thoughts aside, as it was now necessary to cook a well-done steak for the old man. The guy didn't stop. He wondered Liu if he had seen that there was blood flowing from under the door of room 101. Liu knew about it too. Since the task was to clean the room, it looked like someone had been eaten there. While Wang Ming was preparing the food, Liu asked the man to fry some meat for him and add more chili peppers, since the lady he is in charge of likes spicy things. This is not the first time Liu has encountered the world of desire, but each trial in this world is not like the previous one, so it becomes more and more difficult to avoid danger. At this time, Wang Ming is focused on food. After all, if you fry meat until golden on both sides, even the neighbor boy will drool. However, Liu would like to warn everyone that no matter whether it is a wish or a dream, if one manages to reach the end, he does not advise trying to raise the dead. The rest of us wonder why it shouldn't be done. Then Liu remarks that the dead can't come back to life. People can't be sure that the person they resurrect will remain the same as before. The man wonders that then, when trying to resurrect, it will only be a ghost. Liu notes that it's hard to say exactly what will happen, but one thing he knows for sure is that it won't be a person. Meanwhile, Wang Ming has finally prepared a meal for the old man entrusted to him. Liu, on the other hand, continues that only those who are close to death, or those whose desires are extremely, enter the wish world. He knows it will be hard for the rest of the participants to understand now, but he is obligated to say it. When the desire completely consumes them, death will seem like a relief. Wang Ming also thought carefully about these words. After a while, Wang Ming arrived at room 203. He knocked on the door and said that he had come to deliver food. However, after waiting for a few moments, he didn't hear anything. He then loudly announced that since no one was answering the door, he would come in himself. When he opened the door, he found himself in a rather gloomy room with a bed near the window. On the bed sat a completely withered old man. As soon as Wang Ming put the plate of food on the chair, the old man seemed to come to life and got up from the bed. Walking over to the table, the old man sniffed the food Wang Ming had just brought him. Then he pounced on the food like an animal, as if he hadn't been fed for a long time. Wang Ming advised the old man to take his time, as he might choke on it. Wang Ming even thought for a moment that this time he had gotten a simple task. He was even happy that he had hit the jackpot. However, at the same moment, the old man pierced his hand into the guy's chest. The old man's face instantly changed and now looked like a frightening monster, and he wailed about the disgusting food he had been brought. Wang Ming yelled at the old man. If the old man didn't like the steak, he should have said so, and then Wang Ming would replace it with intestines. Also, Wang Ming doesn't like the old man's hand on his heart right away. The guy complains that the old man has no manners. However, the old man was fabulously surprised. He started to go around the guy's insides in a haste, but there was nothing there. The old man was amazed how the kid couldn't have any internal organs. The old man was desperately trying to find anything, but Wang Ming thought that the old man was just deaf. The old man, on the other hand, wondered if the person in front of him was even a human. Wang Ming was getting annoyed that the old man was so persistent. He couldn't even think that even after death, the old man would remain empty. No matter whether he was alive or dead, everyone wanted a piece of him for some reason. Wang Ming is directly angry. Is he really Hello Kitty to the old man and the others? Wang Ming is annoyed that the old man is being picky. He grabs the old man's head and slams it against the floor. He resents the old man picking at the food he gave him. Wang Ming slams the old man to the floor again and asks him if he is going to eat his food. The guy is incredibly outraged by all the old man's actions. Did the old man really think that he would put up with all the old man's antics? He even wonders why the old man is still not asking for mercy. The old man tries to say something, but it sounds inaudible. Wang Ming absolutely does not understand a word of what the old man wanted to say to him. Suddenly, a girl comes into the room. She wanted the guy to help her. What the girl found in the room shocked her incredibly. Wang Ming dealt harshly with the old man. All the walls of the room were stained with blood, and the girl only looked at Wang Ming sitting beside the old man in shock. The girl was speechless after seeing all of this. When Wang Ming turned to the side of the girl, her legs couldn't hold up due to fear, and she fell to the floor. Grabbing the old man, Wang Ming complains that the assignment says to take care of the old man. But for some reason, the guy wants to crush the old man's head. A frightening aura is hovering around the guy like this. While Wang Ming was holding the old man's hair, the old man was muttering something inaudible. The evil spirit was whispering to the guy to kill the old man. Suddenly, the evil spirit seemed to vaporize, much to the guy's puzzlement. Wang Ming complained that the evil spirit only lasted for 3 minutes, and what a weakling he was. However, he wasn't upset and decided to use the card again and summon the evil spirit again. He even got into a victory pose. At this moment, the stupid guy's head was struck by the realization that at least 3 hours should pass between summoning the evil spirit. His face covered in cold sweat, and he began to complain that it took too long to roll back the ability. Wang Ming reaches out his hand to the old man and decides to explain to the old man that everything that happened earlier was a misunderstanding. Suddenly, the old man transformed back to his original state and once again mumbled something inaudible. Wang Ming was surprised that the old man had returned to his original state. He even thought that perhaps it was because he had frightened the old man. With a threatening aura, Wang Ming moved towards the old man and asked if he would eat his food or not. The old man got all shook up, and with a noticeable leap, he grabbed whatever was in the plate and started shoving it into his mouth. The guy even praised the old man. However, Wang Ming notes that the evil spirit card seems to be able to influence a person's mind. Otherwise, he wouldn't have such crazy thoughts, such as wanting to split someone's head open. He doesn't know what will happen next, and so he decides to keep the card as a trump card and not tell anyone about it. The guy grabs the pregnant woman and tries to drag her inside the room. Suddenly, the girl opens her eyes, and the first thing that greets her is Wang Ming's face behind her back. Wang Ming tries to pull the pregnant woman into the room, but the woman is terrified and asks for someone to help her. However, Wang Ming covers her mouth with her hand and asks her not to be afraid and to listen to him carefully. Wang Ming tells her a great story and confesses that he is actually from the government. He reminds her that some things are better kept secret. Still gagging her, he informs the woman that he is a good man, so he is counting on the woman's silence. The pregnant woman has figured it all out and informs him that she won't say anything to anyone. As it happens, goodness is repaid with goodness, so the guy wonders if the woman needs help. The woman begs the guy to help. She agrees to do anything the guy asks as long as he helps her. Wang Ming isn't that risky. He remembers that this place is pretty dangerous and he can't use the evil spirits card right now, so he needs to be careful. The guy agrees to help in any way he can, but he doesn't want to promise anything, and he doesn't intend to risk his life. The woman is all in tears. She is grateful and on it. Wang Ming then wonders what her assignment is and asks her to tell him. The woman tells him that her assignment is to wash the old man's back. Afterward, she begins her story. An hour later in the lobby was incredibly crowded. People were complaining about the assignment. One told how a crazy grandmother didn't like the way he cleaned up and bit off his ear. Another man needed to massage an old man's back, but she was covered in pus. Another man complained that if he hadn't run away quickly, he would have been eaten for sure. The people were amazed at such an ordeal. Suddenly, Liu came out in front of them and shocked everyone with his appearance. People wondered if he was all right. Liu hurriedly reassured them that the old woman had bitten off his leg, but at least he was still alive. The trial had just started, and already so many people had already died. Suddenly, people remembered the rude guy from the bus and they wondered where he was. Someone assumed that he had died already too. Suddenly, the principal came out and yelled at people while they were all crowded in the lobby. There was blood all over her clothes and she was wiping the blood off her face. The principal asked if they had completed their assignments. Everyone immediately noticed the principal's appearance and assumed that she had eaten someone too. One guy wondered to her what would happen if they didn't finish their assignments. Will they really all be eaten? He doesn't understand how the assignment can even be completed. But the principal disappointedly informs him that even if they don't finish the task, it doesn't matter. Licking her lips, the woman informs him that the volunteers are so-so workers, but their taste is definitely excellent. People are shocked. How can a person say such a thing? The director didn't look like a human being at all. Suddenly, Wang Ming and the pregnant woman caught the principal's attention. She wondered what they were up to. The guy sarcastically notes in his thoughts that they are gathering information, but certainly not admiring the principal. Out loud, however, the guy starts sucking up to the principal. He says that he only came to see the principal. Wang Ming notes that the beauty of the principal had them so enamored that they couldn't move. But now everything is fine. The pregnant woman was surprised because it seems the guy was really from the government, so he wasn't picky at all. The director is happy to hear that. She notices that the guy has a tongue. The director says that she is only here to remind her that if anyone fails to do their assignments or gets complaints, she will have to act according to the rules. It was still 2 hours until dark, so the principal recommended that those who hadn't completed their assignments yet should hurry up and not keep the old people waiting. After that, the principal leaned over to Wang Ming's ear and informed him that she would find him tonight. Wang Ming is upset by this turn of events. He didn't mean what he said, and the principal believed his words. He even wonders if he set off some mechanisms with his speech. He doesn't want to be the rider of an evil spirit. When the director left, many people rushed to the guy. They asked him that since he wasn't hurt, he had completed his task. Wang Ming just waved him off, saying that he was just lucky. Other people were surprised by his luck. They thought that the guy had accomplished his task quite easily. Everyone wondered if the guy had noticed any game mechanisms that made it easier to get through, and if so, they asked to share that information. Liu, as always, is at the forefront here. He reminds them that at the end of the day, they are all human and should help each other out. People start to press Wang Ming's pity. After all, he saved a pregnant woman, which means he shouldn't just stand by and watch the rest of the people die. The man wonders what Wang Ming has learned, since there are only 2 hours left, and he asks to tell them. Wang Ming easily notices that the man in the suit is really good at manipulation. He remembered how the man had brought Wang Ming to the forefront last time in the same situation with Yun Li. People had already started to actively push the guy through, stating that he shouldn't be so selfish. After all, this was everyone's concern. Wang Ming is not made of the same mold, so he immediately stops these attempts and tells everyone to shut up. He even declares that he hates moral blackmail more than anything else. He then grabs the pregnant woman by the arm and is about to leave, as people have no leads. Liu stands his ground and is not about to give up. He states that even though he doesn't have any leads, doesn't the brute want to know more about the wish world? Apparently this information seems to be valuable as Wang Ming stops. He asks Liu if he is willing to share the information. Liu informs him that he is willing to tell Wang Ming about the last time he was a wish world. In return, he asks that Wang Ming tell what he has learned. Liu notes that this is very valuable information, and it will help Wang Ming fulfill his wish. Liu knows how to get his way. He's a skillful manipulator. He states that it was during his last game that he saw the true essence of the wish world. I wonder what the essence of the wish world Liu saw. Will this prove to be useful information, or is Liu lying to save his life? After that, Liu started his story, and a lot of people can be seen kicking and beating him with a bat. The leader of the attackers informed Liu that this is just a reminder for now, but if Liu doesn't pay in the next one, he will have his leg broken. His name is Liu Jiangui. Because of his addiction to gambling, he owed a large sum of money at a high interest rate. The debt collectors often beat him to a pulp. On one such day, he saw a phone with a mysterious offer. Later, he entered the wish world and underwent tests. At that time, his greatest wish was for money. He wanted 1 million. When he returned to the real world, his wish actually came true. Suddenly, Liu's phone received an alert that a payment of 1 million yuan had been deposited into his bank account, which shocked Liu. But as it turned out, it wasn't that simple. Because his father fell from the construction site where he was working and fell into a coma, Liu was actually compensated exactly 1 million yuan. His wish had actually come true. But at what cost? The price for the fulfillment of his wish was his father. Liu even reports that his father is still lying in the hospital. Because of his wish, his father had fallen into a coma. Even now it was upsetting Liu. From this story, Wang Ming emphasized the main point. Apparently, the wish is not just magically granted, but realized in some reasonable way. Wang Ming's wish is to get his organs back. This could also mean that he might get rotten organs. Also, some kind of accident could happen, and it would take the organs away from the person to whom they were transplanted. Wang Ming concludes that in granting his wish, he must try to avoid dire consequences. Liu desperately asks Wang Ming for help. Each of the people who arrived are responsible for 3 wards. Liu lost his leg back in the first one, that's why he is asking for help. Wang Ming doesn't think that just beating up an old man, like in his case, will work. If he tells Liu about this method, it will only lead to Liu's death. Wang Ming eventually admits that, as he said, he really didn't learn anything about this game. Wang Ming grabs the pregnant woman by the hand, wishes everyone good luck, and leaves. Liu tries desperately to cling to his life, but he can't catch up to the guy. Wang Ming decides that the best option is to return to the ward, interrogate the old man, and try to get some clues. I wonder what clues Wang Ming will get, and if he will return Liu's debt, or if Liu will be eaten by then. Back in the room, they find the old man hiding behind his bed. The pregnant woman asks the guy why he didn't help the others, since he's from the government. Wang Ming notices that all these people ruthlessly wanted to throw the woman off the bus, and she stood up for such people. The guy doesn't understand how the life of people from the government is different from that of ordinary people. Besides, he's just pretending. That's the lie. Touching her belly, the woman admits that if she really had to choose who would leave the bus, she would probably make the same choice as the other people on the bus. She understands other people because at the end of the day, she too has a wish that must come true. The woman says that her husband was a firefighter, but he recently died on a rescue mission. All they have is this baby, which serves as a reminder of her husband. Even though the doctor says the child is not growing well and will not survive, the woman still wishes to protect this child. She naively assumes that as long as she can handle the ordeal, then everything will be fine. Wang Ming did not bother to dissuade her from this. He did not expect the child to turn out to be the son of a hero. Wang Ming asks the old man to come over to him as he wanted to ask something from the old man. The old man was scared that something was about to happen to him again. However, Wang Ming just put down the sheet and asked the old man to calmly confess why he was resisting. The guy was also curious as to why the old man attacked him. All he wanted was for the old man to write it all down on the sheet, which he held out to the old man. The old man immediately wrote down on the sheet that he didn't like fried meat. Looking at the piece of paper with what was written on it, Wang Ming recalls that the principal said that the information on the room doors was left by their children. The old man, on the other hand, reported that he didn't like fried meat on the contrary. Wang Ming got angry because it seems like it was all a trap. The woman still can't understand what's going on. The guy immediately admits that he found a clue, but he can't be sure it will work. The woman is happy with this information as well. She decides to use this clue because if it wasn't for Wang Ming, she would have died long ago. Then the guy tells her that the information left on the door is wrong. If you do the opposite, you can avoid danger. The woman is grateful and decides to try to do it. As the woman left, Wang Ming pondered a wish. If what Liu Jiangui said was true, then it was not a fact that the woman's child would survive. And if the child survives, but it is unknown if the child will be healthy. He decides to think about what to do at night. Wang Ming thinks the principal is attractive, but after all, she is not a human. So he has doubts. He thinks that humans can't do something like that. Well, at least they shouldn't. 2 hours had passed. He had long since kicked his grandfather off the bed and was lying on the bed himself. He wondered if Yun Li had succeeded in her task. Suddenly, the door opened and the principal entered the room. The old man immediately crouched down on one knee in front of her and invited her to gesture to enter the room. Wang Ming thought of even pretending to be dead, so surprised was he that the principal had come. The principal doesn't understand why the guy is still lying down and doesn't want to go with her. Wang Ming knows that although he can use the evil spirit card, the principal is much stronger than the old man. If he can't defeat the principal, he's definitely finished. He didn't know what he should do at a time like this. To protect his dignity, he decided that he must outsmart the woman at all costs. Wang Ming turned on all his acting skills. He showed the woman his scars and told her that bad people had robbed him of his dignity, and there was nothing more he could do. The woman looked at the scars and thought it was lightning. Wang Ming wondered how she could mistake his scars for such a thing. The principal got angry over something like that. She even called the guy a useless creature. So the principal informed Wang Ming that the volunteer who was supposed to be in charge of room 401 and the old man from that room were missing. The principal tells the guy to go and find them before nightfall. Wang Ming doesn't understand why he has to leave the room. After all, the principal had previously told him to stay in the room after dark. She also told him to listen to advice and eat well. The principal is not in the mood to listen to something like this. Wang Ming immediately corrects himself and cheerfully informs her that he's always enjoyed looking for people, ever since he was a kid, so he's a master at it. The woman cheerfully points out not to let the guy worry because she won't leave him without thanks. When the principal was leaving, Wang Ming trails off and informs her that the reward is not the most important thing, as he just wants to ease the principal's burden. As far as he could remember, room 401 was supposed to be handled by the girl in white golfers who was sitting next to him on the bus. He hadn't seen her in the lobby tonight. He didn't fully understand what the principal wanted him to do, find people or help with the bodies. As he remembered, in martial arts, speed was the one thing that could not be defeated. That was why he decided to move towards his goal no matter what, and took off running down the hallway. As he ran down the stairs, he noticed that the footsteps were too loud in this place. This made him think that this way he might attract the attention of some deranged person. However, he noticed that he was wearing sneakers, so his footsteps should be almost impossible to hear, and the sounds were coming from the second floor. As soon as he realized that they were heels, he felt a bloodthirsty aura behind him at the same moment, which informed the guy that he was busted. It was as if something was glued to his back. Wang Ming thought it was a ghost. The guy didn't have any organs, so he thought he shouldn't be frightened. At the same moment, the ghost licked the guy's cheek with its long tongue, as if tasting its victim. Wang Ming is not going to give in to fear and thinks about his escape plan. He tries to escape from the ghost by humming that he is afraid of ghosts, but they have never hurt him yet. Without stopping, he also chants that he is not afraid of humans, but those have hurt him badly. Suddenly, the ghost twists her leg. She asks the guy to wait for her, but Wang Ming doesn't stop. The ghost is not going to give up either and is already ordering the guy to stop. Wang Ming even thought that the ghost wants to climb on his back to carry her. However, the guy is unwilling to just stand there and wait for his death, so he decides to use his trump cards up his sleeve to scare the ghost away. He doesn't understand how the demon dares to show off in front of a true professional and decides to use the great heavenly dragon to make the ghost pay. Wang Ming was frightened because when he was about to use the great heavenly dragon, he noticed that he couldn't move his arm. The ghost had a dead grip on his hand, and the guy's hand became numb from the cold. At the same moment, a woman appeared near the guy's face and inquired about what he had just tried to do. Wang Ming tried to guffaw and that the woman was just hearing things. The woman asked the guy to wait for her as she was almost done connecting. However, the guy was already unstoppable. Wang Ming ran and shouted that he was waiting for the madam. Even though his arm was numb and using the card would not work, he was still able to run. Wang Ming even notes that Zhou Shuren, a Chinese writer and critic, once said, "If you can't beat them, outsmart them. If you can't outsmart them, run." Wang Ming followed this advice and ran as fast as he could up the stairs. When he reached the top of the stairs, he noticed that the cold sensation in his arm had gone, although he even thought that he might have lost his arm. Suddenly, on the stairs, Wang Ming saw the ghostly arm and legs, only now noticing that the woman seemed to have split apart. Immediately, he remembered the woman's words when he escaped from her. When he first went up to the third floor, he only heard footsteps. As he approached the fourth floor, a tongue and a hand appeared in front of him. The puzzle was now put together. The ghost's body parts were scattered around the hallway, and she was picking them up piece by piece. The woman asked the guy to wait for her to put all the pieces together, which meant that once she did, the guy was finished. He had been so scared because of that ghost, and now he was all excited to see what would happen next. Walking through the fourth floor, he was greatly surprised that there was no blood anywhere. It seemed to the guy that everything was much better on the fourth floor than on the second floor. Finally, he got to the door he needed, room number 401. The door said that his father has Alzheimer's and likes to play hide and seek. Father always hides behind the curtains. If someone starts playing with father, father never gets tired of it. The note said that playing hide and seek with father is dangerous, so his family doesn't allow it. Wang Ming was surprised to learn about hide and seek. Considering what he had learned from the old man, the information from the note on the door should be taken exactly the opposite. So in order to complete the task in chamber 401, it was necessary to play hide and seek with the old man. Opening slowly, he inquired if there was anyone in the room, but there was silence in response. Looking at the window, Wang Ming immediately noticed that according to the note, the old man was hiding behind the curtains, but there were no curtains on the window, so he didn't realize where he should look for the old man. Suddenly, Wang Ming heard a noise, so he looked out into the hallway to see what was going on. He saw the girl he was supposed to save running straight towards him and asking for help. The girl ran up out of fear and hugged the guy. Wang Ming wondered from the girl what happened and where the old man the girl was responsible for had gone. The girl was already crying because the old man decided to play hide and seek with her, but the instructions on the door said that playing hide and seek with the old man is very dangerous. Wang Ming can't figure out what's wrong. In fact, playing hide and seek with the old man is the solution to the task, so he doesn't understand why the girl was so scared. Wang Ming has a lot of thoughts on his mind, because maybe his guess was wrong and Yun Li is already dead. Wang Ming asks the girl what happened in detail. A few hours ago, the girl fearfully asked the old man if he had hidden himself well. It turned out that the old man hid behind a curtain and the girl could easily find him. When the girl found the old man wanted to play hide and seek again. When she found the old man the second time, he was still hiding behind the curtain. There were already 2 pairs of feet behind the curtain. Wang Ming did not understand what she meant. Then the girl reports that the third time there were already 3 people behind the curtain. With every game, another person appeared behind the curtain, and now there was no space left behind the curtain. A large number of old men were standing behind the curtain in a row. The girl is too scared, she even suggests to Wang Ming that she will become his girlfriend. Since he came here and found her, she thinks he likes her. She hysterically remarks that since she has become his girlfriend, the guy can't ignore her. However, Wang Ming stops the girl and informs her that he only came here on the principal's assignment. He didn't intend to be a hero at all and save the young maiden in distress. The guy decides to check what is going on behind the curtain and asks the girl to be more attentive. The girl immediately lets go of the guy's hand. She selfishly declares that Wang Ming is her boyfriend and is obligated to save her, even if it means dying, and then pushes the guy into the room. The guy didn't expect such a setup from the girl at all. As she runs away, the girl apologizes to the guy. She didn't mean to hurt the guy, and she just doesn't want to die. Wang Ming sadly pointed out that even a pregnant woman wasn't afraid to complete the task, and this woman just wants the guy to pass the test for her. Pulling out the card, the guy complains that women only slow down the speed of snatching weapons. Deciding not to procrastinate any longer, he walked over to the window and opened the curtains. Behind the curtains were some hippo-like men in suits. The owner of the chamber happily announced that the guy had found him. Wang Ming was surprised at what happened, as this hippo must have eaten a lot of souls. The hippo informs that it's his turn to look for the guy, but Wang Ming doesn't agree to play this game with him. Then the hippo immediately starts counting down from 3 to 1 and reports that he has found the guy. Wang Ming was very angry and wasn't going to give up so easily. He immediately uses the evil spirit armor to confront the hippo. Wang Ming thinks that he will be able to deal with 10 hippos at once. As soon as the hippo announces that it has found the guy, Wang Ming immediately slams the hippo's face into the floor. The other hippos were not left out and kept shouting that they had found the guy. Wang Ming also refused to give up and confronted the hippos. One of the hippos managed to sneak up behind the guy and impaled him with his hand. This made Wang Ming even more angry, as he hated getting his body pierced the most. The guy thinks that because the hippo made such a hole in his body, then the hippo deserves to die. The hippos kept shouting out how they found the guy in a game of hide and seek. After a while, all the hippos were already lying at the guy's feet, and he was trying to catch his breath. It had been a whole 3 minutes of battle, although he thought that 3 minutes wasn't long for a real man, but at least he managed to get rid of all the hippos before the card's time expired. At the same moment, something strange happened. Some kind of red aura went into the hippos' mouths. And then all the hippos he had previously defeated rose up again, and it was as if the battle had never happened. Wang Ming complained that it was so unfair and unfair, he even wanted to file a complaint against the game through the admins. While under the gazes of all these hippos, Wang Ming asks that they pay attention to how beautiful the moon is today, and that they don't need to fight. It dawned on the guy in that second that the old man in his chamber had attacked him as the blood moon rose in the sky. The principal advised that after darkness fell, stay in the rooms and don't go out anywhere, and also that the players should not sleep too soundly at night. Wang Ming now realized that the woman had said this on purpose. He realized the danger was the strange glow of the moon. The guy noticed that there were no curtains in the rooms, so if he followed the principal's advice and hid in the rooms, the old men in the rooms would go crazy being under the hypnosis of the blood moon and attack the players. Only now the guy realized that the principal didn't care about the fate of people at all, and she just wanted to feed all the players to the old men. He wasn't going to just sit there and give up like that, obeying the principal's words. Wang Ming slipped past all the behemoths and rushed straight to the window, trying to close the curtains. As soon as he did so, all the hippos began to dissolve one by one. The curtains were closed, and the old man was no longer under the influence of the blood moon, so all the copies dissolved, leaving behind only puddles on the floor. Finally, the original old man appeared, who was incredibly happy about this outcome. Wang Ming walks up to him and informs him that it's too late, so he advises the old man to get a good rest and they will play hide and seek again tomorrow. The old man notes that the guy can't lie to him. Wang Ming is glad that he managed to manage this task, so leaving he asks the old man to wait for him in the room. The guy grabs a curtain, sneaks to the stairs and sits there, covering the old man with the curtain. Since he had managed to find the missing old man from room 401, he could now explain everything to the principal. And since the blood moon hadn't disappeared yet, he decides to wait on the stairs for now so that he wouldn't encounter any dangers. Besides, the evil spirit card would only be available to him in 3 hours. That was the reason why he decided to wait on the stairs for a while. Suddenly, Wang Ming saw the girl who had framed him earlier crawling up the stairs. She called the guy scum, because he is her boyfriend and is obligated to save her. A ghostly hand grabbed the girl's head, and the girl continued to sob with fright. Looking at the bloody trail that was left by the girl, Wang Ming notes that he might have helped the girl, but right now he couldn't use his card, so there was nothing he could do about it. Besides, it was the girl's own fault for deciding to run away alone. 3 hours later, he could finally use the evil spirit card again. Only then did he get up from his seat and look at what was left of the girl. He had to rely only on his luck. After a while, he returned to his original room 203. Upon entering the room, he noticed that the elderly people in this nursing home were becoming insane under the influence of the blood moon. But that old man he had beaten up earlier was fine. Wang Ming was very tired, so he immediately lay down on the bed. He has the old man right that he wants to eat tomorrow. He even assures that it's all for the old man's good, so that things won't happen like their original meeting. The old man blinked and started writing down what was needed. He smilingly showed Wang Ming a piece of paper saying that he would like raw meat. Then the guy decides that tomorrow he will bring the old man a huge plate of gut sashimi. The guy even wonders how the old man came to this diet in the first place. The old man confesses that he doesn't really like raw meat, but the old man's son likes it. Only at this point does Wang Ming realize that the old man left the meat in the room because he was saving it for his son. However, all that meat had already rotted away. The old man was leaving all this meat because he didn't know when his son would return. Wang Ming even felt sorry for the old man. The old man had been waiting for his son so long, not even realizing that the son had left the old man to die in this strange nursing home. That was why the meat that the old man had left for his son was lying in this room day after day, acquiring a horrible rotten smell. Wang Ming couldn't help but wonder, is this the world of desire? Guy thought that being torn between love, hate, and obsession was too cruel for the world of desire. This was how the first night in the Bloody Corner nursing home ended. In the morning, all the survivors gathered in the lobby. Liu notices that there were fewer dead people last night. In the crowd of survivors, Wang Ming notices that the pregnant girl also managed to survive in this strange place. Yun Li thanks the guy for his help because if it wasn't for his clues, she would be dead. The guy remarks that it was just a guess. Yun Li wonders if she can share that guess with others. Wang Ming, on the other hand, remarks that the girl checked the hunch herself during her assignment, so if she wants to share it with others, she doesn't need to ask his permission. Yun Li was about to do something about it. However, at that moment, the principal appeared. She noticed that there were too many survivors left. After that, the principal tossed all the tasks into the air again and wished to see everyone again. She then beckoned Wang Ming to come over to her, which he was clearly not expecting. Even though the volunteer in charge of room 401 died, the principal noted that the guy managed to find the old man, so she thinks the guy did a good job and decides to reward him. Wang Ming keeps trying to be polite or servile to the principal, so he notes that he is honored to remove some of the principal's burden. The principal pulled him to her and told him that since he was so happy, she would come to him at night. Wang Ming doesn't understand why the world is so harsh on him. After all, he only got rid of the principal's intentions and it turned out to be a failure. When Wang Ming opened the envelope that the principal handed him, he was very surprised because there was money in the envelope. He was surprised at this because he didn't know that there was money in this world. Liu takes a look at the money, tells him that it is the currency in the wishing world. The last time he was in the wishing world, he saw others using it, and the currency even had its own name, wishing coins. This was strange, considering that it wasn't coins, but paper bills. Wang Ming was even a little surprised by this name, because in his opinion, it was too beautiful a name for money from the underworld. Liu was shocked by such treatment of coins. He asks the guy not to underestimate these wish coins. He even tells him that the players who participated in the trials killed each other to get their hands on 10 of these coins, and in the end, 3 of those players died. That's why he wonders what the guy did last night that the principal gave him so much money. Wang Ming made no secret of it and revealed with obvious irritation that the principal had asked to go to the 4th floor and help her find the missing old man and the volunteer from room 401. Someone wondered if this was a secret mission, and someone in the audience was too scared. He couldn't believe that someone would risk going alone to the 4th floor at night. Such a thing is only possible if the guy knows something about this game. Liu asks everyone to be quiet. He recalls that he shared some information about the wishing world with Wang Ming yesterday. However, if that wasn't enough, he had something else. He would reveal it in exchange for the clue Wang Ming had found. Wang Ming had already guessed about it, that Liu was still aware of something else about this world. Liu asks the others if they are all from Linhai. Then he concludes that they all came to this place from this city. Liu believes that Wishing World mainly selects people by region. The puzzle in Yun Li's mind started to come together. She remembered the guy's story told on the bus. Yun Li decides to clarify that since they are all from Linhai, it turns out the guy's father was injured in the fire at the Central Mall. The boy confirms the girl's assumptions, although he doesn't know how the woman found out. Yun Li tells him that her husband's name is Chin Hong. The guy immediately knows it's about Captain Chin and that he died in that tragedy. Wang Ming informs the guy that he has a family of heroes, so he will be fine too. Liu even offers Wang Ming 100,000 yuan as soon as they get out of here. He immediately gives his phone number. All this to exchange for a clue known to Wang Ming. The others didn't hesitate either, and someone offered 300,000 yuan. Someone even offered 500,000 yuan. A brilliant plan emerged in Wang Ming's mind. He originally wanted Yun Li to tell everyone about the clue, but there was no way he expected this turn of events. Wang Ming is even amused. He asks the others to forget about the whole money nonsense. Since they are so sincere in asking him, he decides to tell them about what they managed to find out last night. After sharing the clue with everyone, Wang Ming went to the new room. His task today was to clean room 204. The note on the door said that the mother has Alzheimer's disease, so she forgets everything, including going to the toilet. Despite her crazy character, she is completely harmless, so the person asked that the volunteers not be afraid. Wang Ming immediately noticed this characteristic of the woman, especially calls Pro not to be afraid. The guy opened the door, however, there was no one in the room. After taking just a step into the room, the guy felt a bloodthirsty and frightening aura in the room. A woman grabbed the guy by his neck and started strangling him. She was wondering where her daughter was because she wanted to see her daughter so badly. Wang Ming, on the other hand, advises her to calm down first. A frightening old woman with a changed appearance approached the guy. He notices that the old woman is too strong for her age, and if she continues to choke him like this, his neck will break. The old woman wishes to see her daughter, and if the daughter doesn't show up, she will kill the guy. Wang Ming was too surprised that the old woman attacked him as soon as he entered. Suddenly, he remembers that the old woman forgets everything, including going to the bathroom. In that case, it's unclear what the old woman even remembers. Wang Ming decides to pull off an ingenious plan and pretend that he is the daughter who came to visit her mother. The old woman looks at him suspiciously and wonders if Xiao Fang is in front of her. Wang Ming continues to pretend that he is the old woman's daughter. He even psychologically pressures the woman that she seems to have forgotten what her daughter looks like. The woman wonders how she couldn't recognize her daughter and asks her daughter not to cry. These words made the woman return to her human form. She looked at her daughter's chest, and it seemed to her that it used to be very different there. The new daughter points out that it's okay to do that now. Not only does the daughter wear beautiful clothes, it also symbolizes world peace. Men who pay attention to this are definitely perverts. The daughter asks her mom to come inside for starters and then wonders why her mom was so fierce with her. Also, the daughter was offended that her mother reacted to her like that. The woman's face was covered in cold sweat, and she admitted that she thought it was the helpers from the hospital and not her daughter. Wang Ming immediately realized that the woman was talking about the trial participants, who were the helpers. The daughter tries to dissuade her mother that there is nothing wrong with the helpers and that they are quite good people. However, at the same moment, the woman's face changed dramatically again, and she declared that her daughter had been deceived. The daughter does not realize in what way she has been deceived. The old woman admits that the hospital aides regularly beat people up, and they don't feed her at all. And also the woman notices that the facility injects something into some old people, after which the old people die. Wang Ming is trying to get to the bottom of the problem. Based on the woman's words, the elderly believe that volunteers are the danger. It was quite valuable information. Mum asks her daughter to take her home. The woman even promises not to pee her pants anymore. The daughter promises to take her mother home as soon as she is done here. First, the daughter needed to clean up the room. This made the woman smile, for she knew her daughter was so understanding. The second night in the bloody nursing home came. Wang Ming saw the principal again and inquired about what needed to be done again. The principal says that a shipment of goods has arrived, so she tells the guy to go to the entrance and carry the goods to the 5th floor. However, she tells the guy to remember that whatever happens, he must not open the boxes. As the principal leaves, Wang Ming stares disappointedly in her wake. She had so threatened to come to him at night, and it turned out to be all just for another assignment. Wang Ming didn't understand what was wrong with the woman, as this was not like her at all. However, as it turned out, the woman was interested in what the helpers were up to. She doesn't understand how it happened that no one died during the night. Walking down to the entrance of the nursing home, Wang Ming found a man stacking boxes at the entrance. Wang Ming reports that he doesn't recognize the man, so he wonders who he is. Wang Ming also wonders what the man does for a living. The man, on the other hand, reports that he can't say anything. Wang Ming understands perfectly well that the man is just a driver and so doesn't demand much from him. He's just curious about what's in the boxes. However, the man seems like he was going to leave all these questions unanswered. Wang Ming tries every possible way to stop the driver and asks if he wants a cigarette. The man stopped and then approached the guy and asked where the cigarettes were, to which Wang Ming pointed to the man's pocket and asked for one from his pocket. This made the driver cry, for Wang Ming had cheated him. Wang Ming threw one of the bills that the principal had given him earlier into the driver's face. He wasn't going to let the driver just run away, but wanted him to answer his questions. The driver, on the other hand, looked admiringly at the bill he had just received. He immediately informs Wang Ming that it was all a misunderstanding. Wang Ming only points out that the saying, "money can make even the devil spin the millstones for you," was not lying. The driver understands all that Wang Ming wants to know: what is inside the boxes that the driver delivered. The driver informs him that the boxes are actually nothing special, just some solutions, mostly sedatives. Wang Ming wonders what the sedative is for. The driver reports that the sedative is for naughty old people who become calm after the injection. Wang Ming finds confirmation of what the woman in room 204 said. If she was telling the truth, this is the way to take a person's life. It's actually a pretty bleak place. The story seems fun at first, but as it progresses, it becomes more and more devastating. The story is frightening not because of its scary, mutated faces or even the loss of life, but because of the horrible nature of humans. Even if you only take just the latest stories from the nursing home, the father waited for his son's arrival and even saved meat for him, although it was actually the son who sent the father to this nursing home. Also the woman in room 204 who begged her daughter to take her out of the nursing home. More on how inevitably people age and develop horrifying diseases like Alzheimer's, and that's just a small part of it. What do you think of this story? What do you think happens next in this story? The guy notices that at such a dangerous time, the principal has asked him to pick up the boxes. He even assumes that the woman wants them to do all the dirty work. The driver wonders if the guy is new, since he hasn't seen him before. He is surprised that a guy comes to a place like this at night to pick up goods. The driver wonders if the guy is afraid of running into that dangerous thing. Wang Ming asks him what the thing in question is. After recalling the horrors that happened because of that dangerous thing, the driver notices that he is talking too much. And after all, this is classified information. However, at that moment, green bills appear in front of the driver's face. Wang Ming notes that he didn't hear what the man said and asks him to repeat it. Tears start pouring from the driver's eyes, and he immediately changes his mind. The driver notices that he said that even though the information is secret, he and the guy are buddies, so the driver will tell everything he knows. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a nursing home and was very caring. To earn money and take care of her sick mother, she did not hesitate to give up a bright future, choosing to work in the nursing home as an assistant. At first, everything was going well, but suddenly one day, her mother suddenly disappeared. When she was found, her body was mutilated and dumped in the trash cans in the hallway. There were gruesome footprints on every floor of the staircase. The girl had lost her mind and fallen from the roof. Wang Ming listens to the story and notes that the ghost in the hallway he encountered seems to be the girl's mother. He wonders what happened next and whether the culprit was found. The driver only stated that such things about the case were unknown to him. After that, the driver said that he needed to hurry up and deliver the rest of the goods, so he had to go. Wang Ming did not insist the driver stay any longer. The man decides that he can't just take money from the guy, so he hands him a lighter and a candle. He asks that the guy light this candle as he walks up the stairs, noticing that it warms his heart, because there are still so many good ghosts in the world. Wang Ming then went to take the delivered boxes into the building. He had just escaped from the second floor and luckily didn't run into anyone. However, now, while the blood moon had not yet passed, then going up from the first floor to the fifth floor, he felt that he would most likely meet that mutilated lady. Placing the candle the driver had given him on the box, the guy decided to light it just in case. Picking up the box with the candle on it, he ran at a jog up the stairs. Suddenly he heard someone asking him to wait. The guy was once again overtaken by the ghost. Wang Ming immediately noticed that the ghost couldn't get closer to him because of the candle. It was as if he had been waiting for this moment and raised the candle high up, shouting that he had the mighty power of a dragon in his hands. The ghost instantly reacted to this gesture of the guy and started running away from him. Walking down the floor corridor, Wang Ming heard a woman's voice coming from the trash can. The woman was saying that she was almost done. Wang Ming noticed that it looked like he had come across another part of the woman's body and that it looked like the driver wasn't lying. Since the guy was protected by the burning candle in his hand, he decided to look into the trash can to see what was there. At the nursing home in the fourth floor hallway, in a trash can, he found what was left of the girl. Now he wasn't surprised that he couldn't find her last night since she was in the dumpster. He only sadly remarked that when desire takes hold of you, death seems like a release. Wang Ming headed to the fifth floor, the topmost floor in the nursing home. There was only one room 501 on the 5th floor. Looking at the door, the guy didn't see any information from the relatives, besides the principal didn't assign anyone to take care of this room. Wang Ming speculated that perhaps room 501 could be where the principal's secrets could be hidden. Wang Ming only reached for the door handle of room 501 when a woman appeared from the side and asked what the guy was doing here. Wang Ming was incredibly surprised by such a creepy and sudden appearance of the principal. The guy immediately said that he had brought the boxes that the principal had asked him for and asked where he should put the boxes. The woman asked him to put the boxes in the lobby, and he immediately went to put the box in. The principal followed the guy's heels into the 5th floor hallway. She pointed out the place where the guy should put the box. Afterward, she even wanted to give the guy his payment. Wang Ming was so happy that the principal was so kind to him. However, as soon as he turned around, he saw the true appearance of the principal, who was holding out a bloody envelope to the guy. She couldn't hide her intimidating smile while under the light of the blood moon. The woman laughingly informs the guy that she forgot to tell him that whoever steps on the 5th floor will not leave this place alive. Wang Ming was surprised and didn't understand why the woman did that. The guy resented that the principal was going to kill the donkey after he finished his work. He even felt that it was bullying an honest man. The monster didn't bother to listen to all of the guy's complaints and rushed to attack him. Wang Ming was able to dodge at the last moment. He even noticed that the woman was damn strong, and one blow from her was like 20 years of strength. The guy realized that the evil spirit's power alone would not be enough to defeat her. All he could do was run away. However, at this moment, the monster pounced on the guy once again. Wang Ming disappeared right before the woman's eyes, and she couldn't understand where the guy had gone. The guy realized that he couldn't win in such a fight and tried to escape because only an idiot would fight face to face with such a monster. There was only one way for him to win. He needed to close the curtains on the window and stop the transformation of the ghost. However, at this moment, he noticed that there were no curtains on the window. At the same moment, a frightening woman materialized behind his back. She knows how the guy was trying his best, but doesn't understand what the point of it is. The woman thinks the guy must be so frustrated, tired, and depressed right now. The woman offers to put an end to the guy's miserable and pain-filled life. However, at this moment, Wang Ming pointed his finger behind the monster's back and declared for the others to not just stand there and deal with the monster already. The monster turned around to see who the guy was talking about, and at that moment, the guy punched the monster. The monster flew off into the wall, and the guy ran on. He didn't realize what he was doing, and the evil spirit card was going to expire in a minute, and maybe he would die in this place. The monster caught up with the guy again and climbed up on the ceiling right above his head. Wang Ming remembered that there was another ghost in the corridor. If he got between the two monsters, he would be finished. Finding no other solution quickly, he ran towards room 501. The guy kicked the door of room 501 with his foot and decided to take a look at what was in that room. The monster shouted for the guy to not even think of entering the room. However, Wang Ming beat her to it, ran into the room, and immediately closed the door from the inside. Just at this time, the evil spirit card had expired. He was so tired of fighting for his life and all these monsters constantly appearing in front of him. However, when he turned around to look around the room, he saw the principal who was crying with her hands holding her head. Guy immediately assumed that this was when the principal was still an assistant. One day the girl sat in front of her mother's hospital bed and cried. She apologized to her mother, so she couldn't take it anymore. She went again and again to borrow money for her mother's treatment, promising that she would pay it back in a few days. However, no one listened to her anymore and asked her to get away from them. She begged so many people for help, even borrowing money from loan sharks. Eventually she realized that her mother's illness was no longer treatable, and she had to constantly spend huge sums of money on her treatment. Completely exhausted, she even tried to use a pillow, so her mom would finally stop destroying her herself as well. She cried, asking her mother to forgive her for this. Wang Ming saw all of this on the projector that was on, which was showing footage of the principal's life. The guy realized that the girl the driver was talking about was this girl on the projector, and the killer turned out to be herself. The puzzle in his head came together, as it turns out that the ghost in the hallway is the principal's mother. He is surprised that the woman got rid of her mother in such a horrible way that the driver told him about. Wang Ming pondered 100 times and still didn't understand anything. He even thought that perhaps everything strange and unbelievable was the norm in the wishing world. The second night at the Bloody Corner nursing home was so strange. In the morning, everyone reassembled in the first-floor lobby of the nursing home. Liu asked the others not to worry because from his experience, he could tell that the ordeal would be over soon. Yun Li and the others rejoiced as soon as they heard such an assumption. Liu reminded the others that the principal had said that each of them was in charge of 3 rooms. He decided to judge the progress of the task and concluded that their task of caring for the old people was complete. The others were so joyful. One guy was glad that he would finally be able to leave this creepy place. Another guy wondered to Liu if God would be able to fulfill their wishes. Liu remarks that God will fulfill their wish. However, he reminds them that by completing the task, you will realize the wish. But everyone should understand. To hear God, you have to pay a price. Everyone was so enthusiastic after Liu's speech that they would soon leave the wishing world and be able to realize their wishes. Wang Ming still suspected that the mission wouldn't end so easily after the 3rd night. At that moment, the principal appeared with a box in her hands. The guy noticed that the blood moon had receded and the principal had become kind of strange. The principal noticed that none of the players died last night. She announces that she will give everyone one last task. The principal tells them that the nursing home caters to clients, the elderly and their relatives. Therefore, she notices that there will be guests at the nursing home tomorrow morning. Before the guests arrive, she requests that the players inject the old people with a sedative to keep them quiet and docile. The principal again tossed flyers in the air with the room numbers that each of the players would be looking after. She reminded them that once the guest's visit comes to an end tomorrow, then the player's mission will be considered accomplished. The principal remarks that if someone fails in the mission and causes discontent, it will be an unforgivable mistake. At this point, Liu pulls Wang Ming by the sleeve and informs him that he has a matter to attend to. Liu reminds him that there were about 50 people in the first trials, so he asks the guy how he thinks there will be how many people left at the end. Liu notices that only 3 people will be able to make it to the end of the game. Wang Ming realizes what the man is saying, that there are too many survivors now. Liu panics, noting that there are few survivors in the wishing world and murder is commonplace in the world. He believes that there are too many people left, so it is simply unrealistic to complete the trial. He realized that tomorrow is not only the end of the trial, but also possibly the end of their lives. Wang Ming decides to also share the information he had. He reveals that the principal asked him to bring a box of medicine last night, so he suspected that there was something wrong with the sedative. Liu only noticed that the principal asked Wang Ming for something again. He even thought that she liked the guy. However, Wang Ming only irritably asks Liu to believe him that the latter would not want to fulfill the principal's whim. Wang Ming also points out that the grandmother he's looking after told him last night that syringes would kill them. Liu finally figured it all out, that the mission wasn't really as simple as he thought it would be. He felt that the mission was a trap, because the old people would die and the children would not leave the volunteers so easily. So the only option was not to inject the old people. Wang Ming admits that the information has not been verified, so he can't guarantee anything. In addition, he pointed out that judging from the way the principal was acting now, if the players didn't give the old people injections, she would kill the players herself. Wang Ming remarks that Liu is an experienced player, so he decides that Liu can tell others about it, and whether others will believe it or not is up to them. Liu thanks the guy for the information and leaves. I think it's obvious to everyone that Liu isn't going to share information with anyone, considering there should be 3 people in the finals. Looking at the falling pieces of paper with room numbers, the guy pondered the situation at hand. He caught number 205 and hoped that this evening would go smoothly for everyone. It felt like he had just decided to take the burden of responsibility off of himself. After all, he had told Liu about his assumptions, and if he didn't share it with everyone as he intended, then Liu was to blame for the deaths of others. The note on the door of room 205 said that Dad was mentally ill and that he needed to be watched every day, otherwise the man might hurt himself or others. The note was left by the man's only son, so he asked that if the illness was incurable, to tell his father about it. The request also stated that the player should never remove the man's harness. After reading the note and going inside the room, Wang Ming noticed an old man who was lying on the bed wearing a straitjacket and tied with straps additionally. The old man requested that the guy untie the straps. After all, he wasn't mentally ill. The old man then transformed into a kind of chameleon under the influence of the blood moon and tried to attack the guy, as he thought he deserved to die. Wang Ming dodged the tongue of the man who was still asking to be released. The guy grabbed the belt and forcefully pulled it off the old man, freeing the old man from his restraints. He wondered what was the rush and why attack him when he would have helped the old man out anyway. The old man returned to his human state a little, but not completely. Wang Ming asked the old man why he couldn't leave the guy alone. The old man was just about to go aggressive as Wang Ming asks him not to. However, the old man wasn't really going to do anything, and only notices by crying that the guy is standing on his tongue. Wang Ming notices that he did it by accident, and then he pushes his tongue back into the old man's mouth. 3 minutes later, Wang Ming is already sitting on the bed, listening to the old man's story. The old man declares that he is normal and not sick. The old man is skeptical because he realizes that the guy probably doesn't believe him, and that the guy deep down and in his heart thinks the old man is sick. Wang Ming thinks this is slander since he doesn't even have a heart. The old man doesn't understand how it's even possible for a person to not have a heart, and he thinks the guy is definitely crazy. Wang Ming is tired of the old man's claims and suggests that he see for himself. The old man looked at the guy's scars and thought it was just a costume. After taking a closer look, the old man sighed as he realized that the guy was so young and he had already had such a hard life. Wang Ming decided to take his chance, since the old man was no longer negative towards him, and pry more information from the old man. Wang Ming told the old man that since he saw the scars on his body, he and the old man were now friends. Wang Ming then asks his friend who he meant when he said the guy deserved to die. After hearing the guy's words, the old man starts going crazy again and cursing some guy. Wang Ming wondered if the old man was talking about his son. The old man, in a frenzy, tried to attack the guy again with his monster tongue. But at this, Wang Ming stated that the old man's son was already dead. The old man froze and did not continue his attack. Wang Ming realized that the old man's son was the solution to the problem. He told the old man that there was no need to take the life of someone who was already dead. The old man was shocked when he heard such news from the guy. Wang Ming didn't bother to explain all the subtleties to the old man, and simply stated that he didn't understand why he would even talk about the old man's son at that time. The old man became more of a man again, and that's when Wang Ming realized that he was moving in the right direction. Wang Ming wondered why the old man wanted his son to die so badly. Especially the guy remembered that the old man only had one son. One day, the old man's wife fell ill, and the doctor said he could save her, but he needed a lot of money. The old man wanted to sell the house and give life to his wife. However, his son refused to sell the house. The father and mother worked hard to save money to buy their son a house. In the end, the house was more important to the son than his own mother. The old man was incredibly happy that such an ungrateful son had finally died. Wang Ming realized that his lies had gone too far. The old man wondered if tomorrow would be the day of the relatives' visit. Wang Ming wondered why the old man was asking him that. The old man thought the guy was a good person, but now they had to say goodbye. Wang Ming wonders what the old man is implying. Then the old man tells him that when relatives come to visit, the caregivers change and there are fewer and fewer old people. The old man still remembered the times when the nursing home was lively, not as quiet as it is now. As the guy and the old man talked, the third night at the Bloody Corner nursing home came to an end. The next day, the lobby of the nursing home was crowded because guests had arrived. They wanted to see their relatives, who were residents of the nursing home. Suddenly, a woman went into one of the rooms and screamed as it appeared that her mom was dead. The player in charge of this room and himself was in shock as he could not understand what had happened. Someone's father died, and they began to resent how disgustingly their relatives were being cared for in the nursing home. Someone called the workers heartless for killing their father. The poor players didn't know how to react to what was happening as they did everything the principal asked them to do. The relatives of the dead turned around to the volunteers, who they thought should have died. In an instant, all the players who had caused the relatives of the guests to suffer were torn to pieces. The principal gracefully watched everything happening from above. She was so happy, because in the end, everyone would turn into dust. Meanwhile, in the nursing home, a massacre had begun in the first-floor hallway. The poor players were trying to escape from the guests who really disliked the current state of their relatives. As expected, Liu didn't say anything to anyone as he wanted to win himself. The principal, on the other hand, was happy since everything went exactly according to her plan. How will Wang Ming get out of this situation? And that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you would like to see a sequel, please like, subscribe to the channel, and leave your wishes in the comments. You can also subscribe to Telegram to know about new videos. Bye everybody.